Never fear, the Black Belt Bots are here, presenting another epic experience with your host, RJ Redden.
Greetings, grasshoppers. My name is RJ Redden, and coaches hire me to skyrocket their marketing because most are shouting into a black hole out there. They can't get traction online to save their lives, and they end up sounding like a carbon copy of everybody else. So, I create epic engagement adventures that get people to click that button, connect with you, and convert like crazy. Welcome to this episode of the Epic Engagement Adventure. I have a special guest. She is special for many reasons. One reason is that she helps people get out of physical pain. I am not kidding. This lady has a 2-minute video that will get you out of pain. It works. She's awesome. And she's a dear friend and a client. So with that, I welcome to the show, Laura Donnelly. Hello, Laura. How are you today?
RJ, I'm just great. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I'm so happy to, as you know, just see you, share, and help people.
Beautiful. Well, I know you pretty well, but the people don't. So could you say who you are, what you do, where you're from? Give us the details.
Okay. I'm Laura Donnelly, and people hire me to teach them to move out of pain because everybody experiences pain, physical, mental, emotional pain at different times in their lives, and we can get stuck there. So I have easy tips to help people step out of that path, step off of that path that creates more pain and onto a new path that allows them to experience joy and freedom.
That's beautiful. I think that there are so many people out there who just don't even know what their lives would be like without the pain.
I agree. And the thing that was really key, when I first met you and started working with you, was this idea that I could not target an individual. Like they tell you to find somebody that is a mother of 3 who works part-time, whatever. And that never resonated with me. And you were talking about psychographics. What is the common feeling, thread, energy of these people and that I help? And I realized, all of this different things that I help people move away from in their lives, the essence of those things is pain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome. And this was a complete light bulb moment for me in terms of not having to, actually being able to narrow without having to reject, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it really does. What got you into what you do now?
It's a long and winding road.
we got a couple minutes, Laura. Let's go.
Okay. When I was young, I was a dancer. I performed a lot, and I was working, auditioning, doing the whole thing. And when I got to be about 28 was the first time I started to have what I call glitches. Just my joints didn't quite move as well as they had used to move. Things that had been easy for me to do took more effort. And at the same time, artistically, I was much more mature as a performer. but my physical body was getting a little worn out. So somebody said, well, you need to study the Alexander technique. And I'm like, what is that? You know, and it is a kind of a vague thing for people to understand, but it's basically noticing how you think, and how you think changes how your body feels, how you feel, and how you function in the world, whether it's physically functioning or emotionally functioning or even mentally thinking functioning. So like an example of that is somebody who has really bad stage fright, and they want to be a performer, but they have this freak out thing, right? So using this technique, you can step away. You don't ignore it, you don't fight it, you don't solve it. You just notice when I'm oh my god, I've got stage fright, I can't perform. Your whole body's tense. And so what you do instead is you say, oh, what feels better than that? It would be my feet. Oh, how weird is that? Doesn't matter. Feet feel better. Then suddenly your whole self calms down and you can move to the side. So I started to dance better. I started out studying the Alexander technique so I could dance better. So I wouldn't worry about the younger people. I wouldn't feel so competitive. And probably about 2 months into it, I said, you know, this would change my whole life if I really looked at this as a philosophy of how to live. And I'm kind of a black and white person. I grew up in the Midwest where it is either hot or cold, windy or not, wet or dry. Just like, I mean, probably we could count on our hands the number of days that it is just a beautiful, perfect day. Mm-hmm. And I think the environment you grow up in, it affects your focus and how you approach things.
Yeah.
Mentally. So, and you know, this is right, this is wrong, this is it. And then you can just hear, right, when I start to think that way, how my voice gets really tight in my throat. Doesn't mean things are not right and wrong. All it means is that when I focus on that either or dichotomy, I lose the ease in myself. There is still a right action for me to take in a moment. It's not necessarily a universally right action, which when I was young, I thought I had the answer to the entire world's problems. But I can ground myself in my own body, in the balance between my brain and my body. And then I can be open to choice, and then I test. If I do this choice, do I feel tense and icky? Or if I think about doing the opposite thing or a slightly different thing, do I feel expansive and grounded? Then I make the choice that way. And my whole life, I do my whole life that way. So if my husband and I are having an argument, because we look at the world from different points of view, if I try to engage with him with that argument, we're just going to bang, 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 bang. But if I can say, oh, we're at this place again, and then I don't have to fix it. I just come back to myself. And maybe I apologize because I once again stepped on his toes, invaded his space, did something with my general enthusiasm that is not easy necessarily. I mean, enthusiasm is great, right? But this is do I really want to share this? Yes, I will. The things that take us away from our self and our being present are not just bad things. We can get us pulled off balance by good things and overexcitement. It's just a barometer of tensing and easing. And easing is not like, a puddle of goo on the floor. Easing is the right effort for the activity at the moment. And so, you know how little girls, oh my God, I swear, I was a little girl once, I know. But when they get excited and they squeal, they've lost it. They've lost their connection. They're just feeding on that energy from each other, and they're making each other more frantic. And whatever made them happy, whether it was a birthday cake or a toy, they lost complete connection to that in the energy of getting overdone. It's not that you don't get excited. It's not you don't get happy. I'm really, really happy to see you. And so I can be really happy and be aware of not being so happy that I start to squeal.
Okay. That makes sense. And I've been guilty of that several times. I get super excited about something, and woo, my head is in the clouds for a while. Yeah, we all do need to learn about our energy, and especially, my people are coaches who love to give their all, coaches who want to serve, and transform lives, and often spend a lot of their energy doing so. If we don't pay attention, though, that stuff can overbalance and go right out the door and leave us feeling empty, and having pain and stress. uh Gosh, what a great point. Okay, we're gonna have a little commercial break right here.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how you engage your audience. Russ, you ready to take it away? This segment is brought to you by Random Acts of Kindness. Enjoy. All right, we're back. We're back with our Laura, and we are talking about reducing pain. We're talking about tension and stress and the opposite. Gosh, I met you several months ago because of our mutual friend, Charles Bird. And I'm ever so happy that you came in to my life, because I've learned so many things from you. And what I want to talk about in this next 10 minutes is, how do you engage your audience? Who do you work with? And how do you engage them?
Okay. I work with people who are basically multi-talented. Probably they fall on the highly sensitive scale, energetically and emotionally. They feel things, also highly empathetic people. And often what happens is that, and also big-hearted people who want to help people. And so they go out of their way to help people, and then somebody misunderstands them, they get hurt, and so by the time I start to work with people, mostly they've kind of pulled back and said, I'm not going to try that again. It's whatever. So I like those people. Also really smart and apt to get caught in their head. I know, sounds funny, doesn't it? The thing is, and people don't think about this, but when your mind starts to spin with ideas and things, and it faster and faster and faster, I mean, it's so exciting, and you can like maybe visualize, an entire project. You can hear, I love that feeling, right? I love that feeling, but it's not grounded in my whole self. That doesn't mean I can't take those ideas and bring them into the physical world. But I do that with right effort, not with more mental effort, not with trying harder, not with doing more things. So when I work with people, I work with people on whatever they bring. And so the thing is, what do you bring today? And then we start there. And how do we be present with that? And sometimes that's a little bit challenging, because sometimes we go up in our head and we're thinking really fast and furiously about something because we didn't want to deal with something else. Maybe something in our heart, maybe something we are worried about, a family friend. But when we open to all those things, we have access to our true creativity and our full humanness. So I also work with people who are in the beginning stages of starting a business who, because they're smart, have studied everything. And they have frozen themselves by having studied everything and not a clue where to start. Or they've made a list of 10 things. If I have to have this before I can do that, before I can do this, before I can do that. And I'm saying, like, okay, so like right here, right now, what's the next step? Don't even think further than that. Just right now, what's your next step? And then we start moving step by step. And before long, boom, things are flowing. Everybody gets off balance again. And so it can be like working with a child who I had one client, and she had a child who was hypersensitive, and he would like lose one Lego. Didn't matter how many Legos he had, that Lego was missing, and this was a crisis. And she said, after working with me and learning some tools to calm herself down, she learned to just sit beside him and take care of herself. She said he calmed down in less than half the time. Yeah, that when she would try to help him, he would just get more frantic. If she would tell him it was not a big deal, he would get more frantic. But when she sat there and took care of herself, this is like what Russ had said earlier about energy, is our energy connects us to other people. And you can't not have the energy you have. And so you want to help people. So you want to do this. Then I push on you, right? And I notice I'm pushing on the screen and I'm wanting to, and I'm like, wait, come back to me. Then open the space. And then there's space for the other person to be them. And then we can meet and pick the next right step. So whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's like writing a book, somebody's, a writer's block, also words. Dude, I work a lot with words. Like somebody told me, I have ADHD. And I said, who told you that? Did you get diagnosed? Because if you didn't get diagnosed, I said, what if this multiple way of thinking is your biggest talent? And her whole world shifted like 180 degrees. And so we look at the words. Another client came to me one day and she said, well, I just can't do this. I have imposter syndrome. And I said, really? Do you sit around and ask yourself or tell yourself you have imposter syndrome? I said, maybe you're scared to take the next step. That's cool. We can work on that. But as soon as you stick this label on yourself, you put yourself in a box. And you've limited yourself. So a lot of what I do is I help people see the limits that their thinking has made for them. Yeah. And we don't know where it will go. This is the other interesting thing. It's like, I can tell people we'll meet, we'll work, we'll play with ease in your life, we'll play with energy and how you're looking at things. And we'll look at tensing and easing and how you want to be. Do you want to be tense and unhappy and like get your kids ready for bed and like, how come that they're not sleeping? Well, because you got like this before you put them to sleep. Now you can't just say, okay, I feel like this, but I'm going to speak slowly. No. You just move the tension. We didn't do anything. So the work is really based on each individual person. How are they being? How are they thinking? What choices are they making? And how can they make choices that take them more into a sense of easing and being present and whole? So did I answer your question? I hope.
You did. You absolutely did. Russ says sometimes we just need someone to help us see what we can't see. Just saying. And let me tell you, Laura's one of those people who will be objective, who will be able to say, this is what's going on. I only know that because she's done that for me occasionally. Just saying. All right. Well, very good. So tell us, what do you do to engage your audience?
I let's see. Okay, I send pictures
Mhm.
that for me bring me kind of an expansive feeling of ah. So I know it sounds funny, right? But all it takes is an instant to shift what's happening for you. And so if you get the little email and this little picture and be something simple like dark sky on one side and light sky on the other side, and then I might just have a little question like, is the storm coming in or is the storm moving out? And it's just um what is it? It's like opening a little door, you know, like they have to pause, they have to look at the email, they have to see the picture. Uh, Sometimes I would send a series of pictures, like I have a pear tree, and I take the pictures when it's budding and all the way through to blooming, and uh, and I remind everybody that stuff happens in little tiny increments.
Yeah.
Oh, there's your beautiful dog.
Rangers making a visit. Everyone on the podcast, Rangers making a visit. All right, please continue.
So I do that. I do some lives, and I share my 2 tips to move out of pain because it works. It's under 2 minutes, and if you do it, things shift.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's all people need. And but other times, I invite them to call me and talk. And then we talk, and then we see what's happening. And I find engagement for me really works really good on video,
Mhm.
and it really works. Uh, mm, it's very interesting. I'm kind of probably shifting a little bit, one to one, because sometimes this work is very challenging because you're changing fundamental beliefs. Now, I don't tell people at the beginning that we're going to change fundamental beliefs. I say we're going to move you out of this certain particular pain. But because that particular pain comes from a certain way of thinking, as we start to unravel that way of thinking, you really start to change how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how you see your place in the world. And that's powerful. And it can be a little bit overwhelming. So after people work with me for about 3 or 6 months or a year, depending on the person, what they need, then I have a group. I have like a maintenance kind of group where you come each week and you say, this is what I've been working on. This is what I have figured out. This is what is coming up. And I can't get a handle on it. And then the whole group supports each person making this change, because everybody knows, even if they're not making that particular change, they're going to come up on a change that is just as challenging for them, but in their own world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a wonderful way to engage people. I've been chatting with some people who are new to me lately, and what they're saying for engagement is to really engage those five senses. And when you send those pictures out, I've been on the receiving end a few times. It's really an opportunity to stop and think and analyze what you're seeing visually. And it's a pattern interrupt, because most of what you get from people is email after email after email. Not Laura Donnelly. No. We are going to engage different parts of your brain. And that's what I love so much about you. And I'm going to spend a couple of minutes now. I'm going to talk about something that I have been learning lately, which I think is just appropriate. And what I want to talk about today is, if you are not in a place right now where people are celebrating you, it might be time to move on. People look at me and think, oh, she's a marketing person. She's going to tell us how to get the CTA percentage and, and I mean, all of those words that all of those people say, all that stuff is really, really important to them. What's really, really important to me is connection with other human beings. You don't need clients. No one needs clients. You need clients that are going to make gargantuan leaps in their development while they're with you. You need things like that to help you climb to the next whatever vista you want to create. That's what you need. That's what you really need. And to find those people, you have to engage them just like Laura does. If you're in a place where people aren't celebrating you, if you're in a place where you aren't regularly celebrating yourself, it might be time to find another place. It might be time to find different clients. It might be time, it might be time for a shift of some kind. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You are the captain of the ship. You are. A pirate ship. I'm just throwing that in there for Russ. Connections and community, Russ says. It's absolutely the truth. It's about making connections. It's about creating community. And it's about being celebrated where you're at. Life is too short. Do not take the next moment for granted. Do not take the next day for granted. Be with people who celebrate and appreciate you. If that's not your clients right now, do something about it. If that's not your employer right now, do something about it. Do not go gentle into that good night. I'm getting a little I'm getting a little preachy here, which is not what I mean to do, but I've met you, Laura, and my life has been more full and more colorful because of it. I'm delighted to have you in my tribe. I'm delighted when I see your face. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming here, spending your valuable time with me. Baby, time is something you never get back. And you have just spent half an hour for me. What pearls of wisdoms or things you want to give to people that are watching? Tell us everything.
Okay. What you said is true. If you're in a place that doesn't support you, first notice that, right? Notice how your body feels, because your body will not lie to you. And if you have to have an extra special, super sweet muffin every day in order to get into the office, that's a sign that that's not a nurturing place for you. You're needing to supplement with a burst of energy to get yourself going. It's not bad, don't think it's bad or anything like that. Just notice. And then once you notice that, then you can start to think, I wonder what else I could do. And wondering and curiosity. When I was in a really difficult transition period, I talked to somebody, and the most powerful thing she said to me is that just because you're good at something and you were successful at it before does not mean you have to keep doing it. And I was like, whoa, I didn't even know I was feeling obligated to keep doing this thing. So, but then I had like, if I'm not going to do this, what am I going to do? And so then one step, just one step, ask one question. And I see Russ put up there, stay curious. Curiosity is so wonderful. And that's one of the things I learned in the first challenge I took with you. Is when you meet somebody, just be curious about who they are. Don't meet them with the agenda that they're going to become a client. Just who is this person? Who might they be in my life? Maybe they will become my new coffee buddy. Maybe they will be somebody I can refer people to. Maybe they will refer people to me. Maybe they'll be a guest on my podcast. Maybe I'll be a guest on theirs. Maybe they want to work with me. Maybe I want to work with them. We don't know what's going to happen. And when we open the door to discovery, curiosity and wonder, I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, I kind of thought that way when I came on here. I wonder what's going to happen when I come on the show with RJ. And so it's that's my big deal. Just explore, be happy, curious, wonder filled, and pay attention to your body because it won't lie to you.
Yeah. Well, that is all true. And for those of you who want to get a hold of Laura, which I am certain that you do, dancingwithease.com is where you can go and hit Laura up and talk to her about what's going on. She is a delightful human being. If you didn't get that by watching her for half an hour, I don't know how else we need to tell you. And dancingwithease.com, that's how you get a hold of Laura. Gosh, we're going to be doing something pretty soon here. Black Belt Bots, we are putting on the Book Yourself Silly Challenge. Yes. Book yourself silly. I'm so excited, everybody. Laura's going to be there, so you know it's going to be a good time. This is going on May 16th. The week of May 16th. So mark your calendar. We'll have a sign-up page out for you by Monday, and let's do it together. Let's fill your calendar with people who are qualified and excited to come meet you. Let's do it together. You know we can do it. And that's all I know for today. Russ, you want to take us away?
Never fear, the Black Belt Bots are here, presenting another epic experience with your host, RJ Redden.